Wild Zone 11 is filled with a ton of Pokemon that you can find in both the water and on land. And it's an interesting Wild Zone because it's actually split into different parts and it's very, very long. So in this video, I'm going to be showing you exactly how to 100% catch every single shiny Pokemon within this Wild Zone. So if you enjoy videos like this, make sure to hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and let's get shiny hunting. The Pokemon we'll be hunting in this zone are Stunfisk, Furfrou, Inkay, which is a rare spawn, Clauncher, Slowpoke, and Gyarados, which is also a very rare spawn. The fixed alpha Pokemon that we can hunt in the zone are going to be Alpha Slowbro and Alpha Clawitzer. For full shiny dex completionists, you're going to need 1 Stunfisk because there's no other evolutions, 10 Furfrou, 1 regular, and 9 for the other trims. And don't worry, there's a video on my channel that shows you exactly how to get the other trims. 2 Inkays, 1 to keep as Inkay, and 1 that evolves into Malamar when leveled up with your switch held upside down, which also has a brand new mega evolution. You also need 2 Clauncher, 1 to keep and 1 to evolve to Clawitzer at level 37. You're also going to need 3 Slowpoke, 1 to evolve into Slowbro at level 37 that has a mega, and 1 to evolve into Slowking when traded while holding a King's Rock. And you'll need 1 Gyarados from here. The base shiny odds are going to be 1 out of 4,096, and the shiny odds with the shiny charm are going to be 1 out of 1,024.38. All right, here we are at Wild Zone 11, and let's do the first method, which is the fast travel method. Fast travel is really simple. You're just going to go ahead and drop a fast travel to Wild Zone 11, and all we care about when we come here is doing this over and over again. So you just do this about 10 times, and then what you're gonna want to expect or check out is if you have shiny Pokemon within 50 meters of where you keep respawning over and over again. So we have our mark right there. Also, I want to point out real quick, you could accidentally get a Spinarak in the back part here. It's very possible. They do show up on the trees. So that is possible from your fast travel. So if you hear a shiny, it's probably one of those guys. Anyway, if you walk in the zone, sometimes you can see a Gyarados spawn instead of a Clauncher. And this Gyarados actually has a very low chance of spawning, about a 9% chance, which is kind of crazy. Let me refresh the zone one more time so you guys can see what we're doing at the 50-meter mark. But yeah, if that Gyarados spawns close by, you're good on a fast travel point. Anyway, let's go inside the zone from the 50 meters and see exactly what you can get here. So if the Gyarados does spawn, you'll get that. But normally, you'll get yourself some Claunchers right over here. Here we go. 1 Clauncher, 2 Clauncher. That's within the range. You'll get a Stunfisk here. Looks like you can possibly get a Stunfisk over there. It might just touch 50 meters. Does it fall within the 50 meters? It spawns about here, and the answer is no. So we're not looking at Furfrou here, but we're looking at the Claunchers, we're looking at Stunfisk, and the possible chance of the Claunchers either, swapping to an Inkay or swapping to a Gyarados. Now, the next method we're going to talk about is going to be run and reset. Now, in order to pull off run and reset, we first want to show up in the zone. So what you want to do is quickly walk in the zone, and you're spawning in all the Pokemon over there. You want to see if the Furfrou is shiny. It's not. Okay, great. And then you're going to just reset. If a shiny Pokemon did show up as you're running through the 50-meter circle radius, they'll be there. You're going to be fine. But this is just to quickly get all the spawns so you don't miss any from this direction. So just go up to the bridge to see that Furfrou, and you are done. And you can see if you have any water spawns that are shiny. So that is going to be the run and reset method. And by doing the run and reset, I was actually able to find myself a Clauncher. I was able to get myself a Gyarados, and believe it or not, you can also get a Alpha Clawitzer, which is pretty nice just by doing that, because you can see the static Alpha Pokemon in the background right over there when you do the spawn. One more thing I do want to point out to you all is that you should probably enable this on your Switch controller. So make sure you go home, go down to the settings right over here, and then from system settings, go to accessibility and make sure you have zoom turned on. By having that turned on, you then can go into your game and you can just double tap home if you want to go zoom in and check out something, and you can zoom out and zoom in with the Y and X button. Really good tool for shiny hunters that you should do for all your Switch games from here on out. That's what you should be doing. Now let's talk about a next method, which is called run and despawn. Now there's going to be 2 locations on our map that we're going to be doing this, and the basic point of all these methods we're doing is to target different Pokemon that spawn in the game, or especially spawn within Wild Zone 11 specifically, because you have to use different strategies sometimes to get to different Pokemon. So on this side of the Wild Zone, as you can see if you followed me, we have another entrance over here. And if we come up to this gate, we'll see Pokemon like the Alpha Slowbro over there. We'll have a regular Slowpoke. If you do look carefully, you may just bump into a Furfrou in the background over there, as well as you're able to see the Alpha Clawitzer here, and other various Pokemon do spawn. Now, the trick for this, it's very simple. This is going to be our run and despawn path, where we're going to go all the way just like this. Very simple. You're just going to reach the green point over here. And as soon as you reach this, you're going to go around and repeat again. And you're going to see that in the background, we're going to have new spawns on the left. Right there, Clawitzer respawn, and we're going to have a different Slowbro because he has turned around, meaning that these spawns are constantly refreshing. So this is all you have to do on this end when you are going about with this specific method of the run and despawn. That's it. And then go back, do this over again and over again until you get yourself a shiny Pokemon that does show up. Now, there is another spot for the run and despawn method, so let me just go through Wild Zone 11 and bring you to that exact location. So we're just gonna go past this Furfrou here. Nothing shiny here, and we're gonna head over to this specific gate right here. Now, this spot is going to be really easy. All you have to do here is just work your way back until this point, right? This little drawbridge, and then walk back. So follow me, and look, you get a Gyarados that spawns in this area sometimes. You'll get yourself some Inkays. It's pretty nice. So we're going to go here like this. Boom, we made our little trip. And we're going to run back, and that's enough distance for you to run and despawn the Pokemon out, and then we come back and we're going to get complete new spawns. But make sure you're checking the left side here as well, because you can't forget that Inkay is also going to be a spawn here as well with the rare Gyarados, but you will get it if you try all these methods. You're just basically doing what feels comfortable to you, and of course this can also be macroed with the 8-BitDo controller. So here's the 8-BitDo, so a lot of these can be macroed. I'm pretty sure almost every shiny method we talk about is going to be macroed, and there you can see there's a little Inkay. So this is going to be the run and despawn area number 2. This is the run and despawn area number 1. And those are pretty much the run methods that you can do in order to get your Pokemon. Now let's talk about everyone's favorite method in the game, which is going to be the bench reset. Bench method. We just call it the bench method. It's that simple. And this is pretty much going to be the bench that you're going to want to sit down on if you are specifically hunting in Wild Zone number 11. Why? Because this brings you closer to the area, brings you closer to the alphas, and gives you a chance of getting a ton of shiny Pokemon. And the crazy part is you could end up with accidental shiny Pokemon like these Baneris. So if they show up as pink, that is also a possibility, as well as the Magikarps in the zone, as well as even Magikarps outside the zone over here. So this bench is pretty interesting. It has a big range. So for bench reset, it's very simple, right? This is something that you could do manually by holding down the down joystick or just pressing A. And you can see when we do kill time, it is going to turn nighttime in your game. Do the nighttime thing and watch exactly how your character is going to face afterwards. And the reason why we say to hold your joystick down and spam A is because of this exact reason. So your character faces away. All he has to do is face this way, down joystick, and then you're spamming A. So make this really simple and automate it for yourselves. You're going to take a rubber band, simple like this, put it down and make sure the joystick is facing down as much as it can, more than turning to the right, have it angled down. Once it's angled down properly, you can then start spamming A no matter where you go, walk around the house, spam A, spam A, spam A, or if you want to watch a Netflix movie, whatever you want to do, just spam A all the time and you should be able to bench reset automatically. Now, we also have an alternative option, which we do for a lot of shiny Pokemon, and this nets you a ton of shinies with the 8-BitDo, which comes in a ton of colors, purple, like the GameCube. It's pretty cool. And all you need to do is just program a macro onto it. So you're just holding the down joystick and smashing A, pressing the macro button, and it's automatic. Your character's just going to do it over and over and over again, and you'll wake up to a ton of shinies. It's basically the real AFK. Like, you're not even there, and it's doing the job for you. Over 2,000 of you have bought this controller, and we have an entire community who's listing out all the macros. So you can actually just download the macro from the Google sheet we made onto your controller. So it's really cool. That stuff is all in the description below. Very, very cool controller. Now, besides this specific bench over here, there is another bench. It's not as optimal, but I do want to present that it is a bench. So in order to do that one, we're going to head over back to Wild Zone 11, and I'll show you the second bench. That bench that we talked about, again, was right across over here, right where I marked the green mark, but we're going to go to our next bench, which is bench number 2. So let's go. Make sure there's no shinies in the water. We got double alpha over here. Wow, that's crazy. And then we're just going to go up over here. And then this is crazy, right? Watch this. The bench is going to be up here, and this bench might trigger some bonus shinies for you, so just be aware of that. So here's the bench, and we want to move to the one that's closer to the zone, so we're going to drop down a pin here. Now, let me explain exactly what this bench is going to do. So this bench, again, 50 meters is our radius, so we're going to be able to accidentally get ourselves a shiny white flower Floette, as well as a white flower Flabébé. So if you're looking for the white color one, that is a little bonus that you can do. There is also a possibility of a bird Pokemon showing up at all times. Those are the most annoying ones. But if we do come down here, let's actually go into the zone so you guys can see what exactly is our range of this. So I'm going to head and down here, and you can see that a bunch of the Claunchers are within range, and if they happen to spawn as a Gyarados, they would also become shiny, as well as the chance of an Inkay. Look at that. There's an Inkay right over here, just chilling underneath here. So you have a chance of an Inkay being a shiny as well, and you got one Stunfisk in this area. So you have a good amount of Pokemon here. You're just not including the Furfrou, and it's just an alternate bench. It's just not as targeted to the zone as the one on that side over there. So that is exactly the bench method that you could do for this wild zone. So now you know how to 100% shiny hunt Wild Zone 11. You should check out this video on your screen over here. And don't forget to subscribe.